Election day is fast approaching, and it's time to meet the candidates. Tonight, you'll meet the first of 5 people running for the Richmond mayor's office. And then after this show at 7:30, we'll continue the conversation on our CBS 6 Facebook page live. But right now, give a warm welcome to Tracey McLean, joining me now to talk about her plans for the River City. Ms. McLean, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so tell us, what is this election about?
Oh my, it's so much going on in the city of Richmond that what I want it to be about, a lot of the questions are not being asked. But it should be about COVID and actually reclaiming our city, working back to a nice, calm place to live and safe place to live, and also working to change the social unrest.
Well, so tell me, as far as COVID, has the city handled the pandemic well, say from a medical perspective?
I think so. I think especially not having a plan beforehand, I think they did a good job of trying to make things a little better for the citizens.
And so, but obviously the economic fallout, that continues today. So even if we have a handle on, say, the rising cases, if the numbers look fairly stable, what would you do to bring back, say, small business or minority-owned businesses? How do you bring back sort of the lifeblood of the city?
Okay, well, we really have to focus on what the next step is. We hear often that there will be a second wave, and so we have to be proactive, not reactive. There's no one talking about that. And so we have to plan now and make sure that we have proper PPE, and we have proper time and helpers to work these businesses to continue getting revenue. Unfortunately, there's no one putting that plan forth. And so I'm here today to make sure that you know that that's what I plan to do. I plan to offer what we call barter services, where small businesses help each other. So that way we're not adding any cost to the small businesses. Also having like, minimal paperwork grants. And that's the difference. So you can get money in quicker.
So barter service, I could finish my job here and go help somebody else over there in return for what they've done for me.
And we become a cohesive community doing this. We get to know one another, we get to grow with one another, and we get to actually help our city be the best Richmond city we can be.
You mentioned the unrest. Obviously, we saw protests and marches throughout the summer in the wake of the death of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minneapolis. Does Richmond have a policing problem?
We do. We have a policing problem and had a policing problem for a long time. It's time that we used to have community policing. And that was a good thing because the community was a part of the whole police department. The police department would come out and work with the kids, and everyone knew each other. So you felt comfortable, you trust. They were trustworthy. Now it's about a power struggle. Unfortunately, police have to understand that they do work for the community. So it's about knowing the community, knowing who you police, and knowing that we do not want racial injustice here. We want to be a nice, cohesive community.
And so, in a sense, the trust between the community and the police department has eroded. The people that live in the city don't necessarily believe that the police have their interests at heart.
Yes.
And okay, well, so then I'm going to try to get as many topics in here as we can in this limited time. But development projects. So a big project like Navy Hill is big, probably bad in that sense, because if you're trying to build affordable housing, can that happen in a big project?
It absolutely can happen. It can actually happen at the Diamond. The Diamond area is a perfect area to actually build affordable housing, retail, restaurants, everything, because you have access to both highways right there. And so us developing that would be great revenue, great for jobs, great for housing.
Because that was one of the criticisms of Navy Hill, was that, well, the affordable units wasn't really necessarily, written in stone. It seemed like that could be fudged a little bit. So it's not necessarily the size of it. It's like who's putting it together and what is it going to look like?
And being transparent to the community is very important.
Okay, and very briefly, we only have a little bit of time left, and I apologize for that, but schools, what will we do to make schools in Richmond a little better?
Okay, well, what I was speaking about with the COVID-19 and the second wave, I just want to make sure that everyone understands the new mayor will have to be in office for a couple of years trying to make sure that we revive from the COVID-19. So the schools, we're going to be doing virtual. I feel we're going to be doing virtual all the way till next September. I really do. So it's very important that we get internet working well for the students, that we get screen protectors so that the students' eyes won't go bad, and so on and so forth. It's a lot, but you can check my website at TraceyMcLeanForMayor.com.
All right, well, Tracey McLean, thank you for coming in, and we're going to continue this conversation at the bottom of the hour at 7:30 on CBS 6's Facebook page. Please join us, and you can put your questions out there to Tracey McLean as well. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.